Hello, and welcome to this FTI Treasury Talks, where we're going to be looking at some of the practical implications of artificial intelligence and robotic process automation in the Treasury world. It's been hard to open an internet browser or look at a newspaper in the last 24 months when we haven't heard something about artificial intelligence. And of course, that's ramped up in recent months with the introduction of DeepSeek, where we've just seen an explosion of interest in artificial intelligence. But from a Treasury perspective, what are the practical implications of that, and how can we harness it in order to get some benefit out of it? My name's Justin Callaghan, and I'm the CEO here at FTI Treasury, and I'm delighted to be joined today by Shane O'Keefe, who is our Head of Innovation, and who has really mastered the arts of some of this stuff from a practical perspective in terms of rolling out robotic process automation and artificial intelligence strategy across our processes. So this morning, we hope to be able to investigate, I suppose, how we have done that, the benefits that we've seen from it, and how maybe you can consider that in your own Treasury operations in order to leverage its benefits. Shane, that's
a good introduction.
It's a mouthful.
Yes.
So, I mean, let's start at the basics, I suppose. We're talking here about AI, artificial intelligence, and RPA, robotic process automation. Can you, and we've heard a lot about AI.
Yep.
And you know, as I said, every conference we've gone to, there's been a stream on AI, and it focuses on very particular things. But I mean, to start off with, can you sort of define the difference between artificial intelligence and robotic process automation?
Yeah, it's quite easy to get them confused. RPA is really about rule-based processing. So if you have a process that has to be run the exact way every time with precise, like if this, do this, while AI is a bit more trying to mimic human thinking and intelligence through machine learning. So it will gather all the data and then make a decision based off that, while it's a lot more flexible in its thinking, and while RPA is a lot more structured and to do X, Y, and Z.
Okay. So in a Treasury context, it strikes me that there's a role for both of these technologies. I mean, ideally, Treasury processes will be structured.
Yes.
It reduces risk, and it produces a determinable outcome. So what sort of processes are suited to RPA? And maybe in the future, what do we see the role of AI within the operational context of a Treasury? So
from our perspective, when we were implementing it, the RPA was kind of to do the data gathering, you know, the work that the human does at the start of the process, where they're gathering all the information and then you're going to make a decision on the back of that. So a lot of it was reconciliation, cash forecasting, even some of your FX hedging strategies. You know, you have to gather numerous information from different systems, get that all together. The robot will do all that, put it into a nice, presentable package for the end user, and then they can go through it and see what they need to do on the back of that. You can also get RPA to make suggestions based off parameters, but AI is a bit better than that. And that's what we'll see, is that you layer AI on top of your RPA programs going forward, because AI will then be able to gather all external information from, let's say, the internet. It will get your rate trends, you know, interest rate fluctuations, what the common sentiment in the market is, and it will be then able to make a better suggestion of what you can do at the end of it. So like RPA will, what we see is the start of the process, then you'll have either AI or the human trying to interpret that, and then you'll have to make a decision back to that.
So, I mean, it's interesting you put it like that, because like specifically in like a lot of people, you know, AI is used to make their emails sound better, or, you know, for writing papers better, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas I suppose we're trying to take that leap forward to embed it into data-based Treasury processes and decision-making.
Yep.
And it strikes me, Shane, from what you say there, that really RPA is a fundamental building block to facilitate that. And without having a well-developed RPA program in place, it would be very hard to to leverage the AI capabilities. Is that right? Or-
That's what I found in our processes. Yeah. Without the RPA, the AI wouldn't be able to have all that, make that a value add to it.
Yeah.
It would be, we'd have to go away to our system providers and get them to develop stuff,
Yeah.
while RPA is allowing us to control all the variables within our thing and add AI onto it.
Yeah.
And most RPA software providers will have AI embedded robots, or they'll have APIs with ChatGPT or Copilot or whatever else you wanted to build into it.
So let's then take a look back and I think about our journey that we've gone on over the last maybe 3-4 years. You bring us back to the beginning and how you spec'd out and what process did you have to follow in order to implement the RPA strategy?
So the RPA, we're an outsourced treasury company, so being 100% right always is our goal every day. So one of our biggest risks was fat fingers. Someone would type in an extra zero or not, or run a report for the wrong date. So we identified that was a risk. So then we went, how can we cover this risk? And RPA was a natural solution to this. Then we went out to the market, and the 3 main service providers, UiPath, Automation Anywhere, and Blue Prism. We had a look at all the 3 systems and picked one that suited our needs best. And then the next thing was engaging with the stakeholders, because it's a big cultural change. A lot of people are afraid that, you're bringing in a robot to replace my job. I don't think many companies will do that. It is to move the staff from doing boring, repetitive tasks to actually adding value to your processes. So we had to start with processes that were annoying people, So like it was, you might have to gather a load of data and put it into a report once a week and do that. It might take you 2 or 3 hours to do it. That's an easy one to get people to buy into, because you're saving them 2 or 3 hours of a tedious task that they don't want. So we started with our RPA is just running a load of reports, combining it into the format that the client or our senior management wanted, and then issuing that. And then once the staff got comfortable with that, and they were saying, this is, making my job easier, and I can just review that before it goes to senior management to make sure it's, nothing has changed, and was taking them 5 minutes instead of 2.5 hours. And after that, then we started with our reconciliation process. Again, at the start of every day, back office coming in, and they were having to get MT940s from banks that weren't feeding directly into the system. There might be some accounts where you're not even getting MT940s, and they had other processes to get that information. So we were replacing them processes with the RPA to gather again all the information, do the initial rec, and then just giving a list of rec items to the back office. So when they log on the first thing in the morning, they have an email going, here are your rec items. Then they can go and investigate them and see what's the next step. And then when other offices saw that, they were there going, we want in on this, because we see back office are being more efficient. So then we started putting it out into cash forecasting, cash management. Some of our accounting month-end processes are now being run through RPA as well. So any part of the organization really is utilizing the RPA solution. And now we started building in AI into them processes as well. So for the reconciliation, AI is very good, because it will use it can process loads and loads of data. So if you have years and years of historical rec items, it can go through them and see trends, and then apply that to the reconciliation items that we're having now, and reduce the amount of queries that back office have to actually investigate, because you'll see that, the naming convention of who paid it might have changed or something, but AI will be able to go, that is actually this. It's just that it's, there might be an extra space or something where RPA wouldn't be able to do that.
Pick up on that.
We also using AI as well as a knowledge share kind of tool, using chatbots. So, when you have new staff members, you've trained them up, and they're doing the process, but like they might have a question about, actually, why do I do this? And, with everybody busy, they mightn't be able to immediately ask their superior or their work colleague. So we set up chatbots where if you have a question about any process of why something is done, you can talk it in and you get an instant answer back. So people are learning faster, and that knowledge isn't confined to one person. It's within the organization. And we're also then, the next step I'm trying to build into that is from a reporting point of view, is that senior management or a client, if they need a specific piece of information, currently they'd have to email someone then has to run the report or gather the information and do that. But we could build a chatbot that you type your question in. Oh, I need to know what my cash position is at the end of the day, or what are our expected cash flows for the next 3 weeks. They type it into chatbot and it will come straight back to them, so they'll get instant feedback instead of, I know it might only be 30 minutes, but senior management like their answers quick.
Yeah.
So we can hopefully build that all in.
Yeah.
So they're all pretty easily implemented.
No, but it's very interesting because they're very practical. Again, if we go back to the sort of lofty ideas of AI, sometimes it is very hard to see them, how they will actually help on a practical day-to-day basis within Treasury operations. And these are things that obviously you've done. You've effectively reduced the resource requirement in order to be able to undertake processes, which has allowed us to grow without increasing our FTE headcount to the extent that we would have had to without RPA in place. Obviously has a cost benefit associated with it, but at the same time, reduced risk. It's a double whammy effectively. Then you're saying that you have access to all of this process knowledge, so procedures and controls are effectively automated via RPA and AI, and then you're layering on this reporting tool for senior management to allow AI to extract available information. So you've created a microcosm, really an ecosystem that is specific for corporate treasury operations, which I think, again, I would go to a lot of conferences and the likes, and it's rare that I hear people speaking with that sort of practical application. So it is great to hear, actually how this can benefit a real life corporate treasury trading trading operation. What's next then, do you think, Shane? And we're back to the lofty cloud questions here.
Yeah, but anything's possible with AI, probably. But what I'd see is the next thing is a treasury analyst, and they're there going, what are the market trends and all that research they have to do. AI will be able to help them a lot with that. So if you're trying to decide what my hedging strategy should be, and you want to do scenario analysis and all that, you can get the AI to gather all your, external factors, to come up with not a policy, but a suggestion. Though, look, the market is expecting the US dollar to strengthen, and this is your position, so this is what the impact is. So AI will be able to give senior management and the decision makers all this information in real time every day, instead of someone having to spend hours and hours at it. The other big one is in cash forecasting. It is great for processing large amount of data, just getting all your trends and seeing if this is seasonality flows or ad hoc flows, and highlighting them and bring it to senior management so you can use your liquidity structures and funds in more efficient processes. So I think they'd be the two most common areas that I'll see AI in the next 24 months being used in.
Yeah. So moving, I suppose, what you've put in place is to enhance and make operations more efficient. Now leveraging AI to bring that to a more strategic level, in order to be able to do that. Like there are costs associated with this.
Yes.
I mean, there's third-party software costs. You've mentioned some of the providers. There's input time, and obviously one of the, in order to be able to get there, you need to have well-defined processes at the start, right? It doesn't really work, does it, with ad hoc processes? You really need to have well-spec'd processes.
Like when we were doing the RPA at the start, I went away and rethought every process so that it went from how a human done it, and each human might do it slightly different, to going, well, what's the best way to do this from an RPA point of view? It's a good time to review your processes. There might be steps that are not needed. Like one comes to mind that I was just working with our middle office team, was that they were copying three spreadsheets into one to do it, but actually they only needed one. It was just that it grew over time and they were taking little bits from that, but over time, where it was coming from, it was all feeding into actually one. So we're able to make the RPA process easier. And then for any reason, if they had to do it manually, it's easier as well for them. So you can streamline all your processes as well at the same time.
So big picture, Shane, like it sounds to me like, in order to get to a top tier AI and RPA enabled treasury operational environment, there's three real building blocks, right? There's starting off by having well-defined processes, reviewing them, putting them in place, having them documented. Then that facilitates you to implement an RPA, and then RPA allows you and facilitates you to integrate an AI element into the operations. And it's probably hard to take a shortcut, right? It's a
it wouldn't be advisable. Having a good foundation will make the AI part a lot easier for you, because it will just sit on top of it easier. Otherwise, it will come back with wrong information or wrong suggestions. So it's make sure the RPA is set right first.
So last question, then Shane, do you have any views? And this might be a bit of a wild one. Do you have any views on the AI models themselves? Is this DeepSeek thing just a facilitator that's kind of going to rock the AI industry that has invested heavily, or will it have any practical application for the end user, do you think?
That's a good question. I think in Treasury, I don't think it will. You want trusted software providers, so you're not going to be using open software to do your AI. And the AI simulations that you wanted to do are quite bespoke to Treasury functions. So like DeepSeek, all them, they will help you, but I just don't think it will rock the boat that much.
Very interesting. Thanks for that, Shane.
No problem.
Good chat. Opened my eyes.
It's always good.
Yeah. So, folks, I hope you found that interesting. I suppose what we were trying to do was pull out some of the real practical implications of robotic process automation and artificial intelligence from the corporate treasurer's perspective. As you can see here at FTI Treasury, we've really embraced this in terms of embedding it within our processes, and it's brought us a lot of benefits, mainly in the areas of risk reduction, but obviously also in the areas of other efficiencies in terms of resources and the likes. Our processes, as a result, allow us to process very large volumes of FX deals, cash management transactions, forecasting, evaluations on behalf of clients. Which means that our systems, are all fully integrated within this robust technology environment. If you'd like to find out more about what we do and how we go about it, please feel free to reach out, and you'll find loads of information over on our website, ftitreasury.com. Thanks for listening.